All right. Well, Trickman Terry's here, so the stream can begin. Obviously, that's what we were waiting for. So, hello, everybody. Welcome to the weekly Wednesday live stream. Hope you're all doing well. Sorry to hear, Dallas, that you've got COVID. Hope that's not treating you too terribly. Is this going to be a tutorial? Maybe it's more just going to be me playing with it. I haven't gotten to play with the Woovebox in a couple weeks, actually, because Garen's here too. Hi, Garen. Well, because Knobcon was crazy. Then I just had like a whole crapload of gear thrown at me at Knobcon, and I wanted to play with that. The Bastille Castle drum. That was a lot of fun last week. So I really haven't gotten to play with the Woovebox lately. So I think I'm just going to try and create with it. And I really just want to show people the concept of the workflow. If anyone out there has a Woovebox, so I know Fusion Breaks has one. Dallas, I think you said, yeah, you've got one. Be sure to let people know that this interface isn't as crazy as it seems. Who was I talking with? I think just the general Discord over on my Patreon page. The biggest problem I've had with the Woovebox is convincing people that the interface is actually genius. Yes, it's a very, very deep box and there's so much you can do, but there's really not much menu diving. People just see one knob and assume it's crazy. But the buttons themselves are the options. So you're not endlessly scrolling through options. You're just scrolling through basic pages. And that's it. Then the buttons become your options. So you hold down a button and then turn the knob to change the value of that button. It's really quite easy, actually. Practice is definitely key. Practice is definitely key, and eventually you will start memorizing. Yeah, like Fusion Breaks just said, muscle memory. Eventually, you'll start memorizing where things are. So, like, for instance, I'll just go to the kick drum track here and sequence something. I know that on page 2 is the pattern page. This is going to be the pattern length. I know if I go to the global page, this is distortion. I use that one a lot. Global page of whatever track I'm on. Pad number, what is this, button 12 down here, or A4. That is distortion. Oh, I forgot to turn up my master volume here. Give me a second. Is that loud enough? Everybody hear the kick drum? Snare. Hi-hat. Yeah? Good, we good? Yeah, Alan, exactly. What does that sound? That was crazy. Is that on? No, it's not on the bass. It does come naturally to you once you spend some time with it. Yeah, it's kind of like the Pocket Operator, just very, very deep, but not at all in terms of workflow, but in concept where it looks way more daunting than it actually is. The creator of the Woovebox, Evo, was able to cram a ridiculous amount of stuff in here and keep it pretty much all on the surface without any deep diving. So let's actually, what did I just do here? Oh yeah, I'm on the bass track, that's right. I'm going to undo what I just did, go back to song here. Does anybody have any requests? Probably not going to touch on sampling or anything like that today because I need to brush up on that because that isn't really something that I really dove into that much. Rexcellence McGee, this has USB Type-C for charging. Then it has MIDI out over 3.5 millimeter. It then has a line in 3.5 millimeter and a line out 3.5 millimeter. Also over Bluetooth, it has MIDI in. And it also connects to the Woof Connect web-based app, so you can transfer files and export stems and all that stuff. Yeah, Sadiq Cat, I know you want to see the sampler. You're going to have to wait a little bit because I'm going to make a fool of myself because I really don't know it yet. Sorry. Okay, glad to see Fusion Breaks. You haven't really played with the sampler much either. I did when I first got it because I wanted to make sure it was like up to snuff before I really committed to learning it and, you know, falling in love with it. But yeah, I haven't really haven't played with it much since then. Dallas, yes, sound engines, yeah, several. Or one sound engine with a lot of possibilities. Let's actually do some sound design. That could be fun. So right now on the screen it says SG03. That means I'm on song number 3. By default, you boot into song mode and then holding play and pressing any of these buttons will change. I'd love in the future for there to be a way of the Woovebox to indicate if you have a song loaded in already there or if it's blank. That could be kind of nice, like if it's flashing or something. I saw someone posted some feedback, and I thought that was a really great idea. So that's probably something that can be easily implemented. But song 3, I know for a fact, has nothing in it. So I get 16 tracks within my song. Each of those tracks have 16 different patterns, and each of those tracks can be used for anything except the first track, which is the chord track. Hi, Randy. How's it going? And yeah, Fusion Breaks is right. The sound quality is really, really cool. Like, the creator said he wanted to bring his 90s studio in a tiny little box with him, and I think he's really nailed that. It sounds surprisingly good for how small it is. So to change tracks, we hold down the encoder here, the value knob, and then just click a track. So chord track, bass, lead, arp, kick, snare, hi-hat, perk. Remember, these can be used for anything. I'm just going to go to the kick track here. Now you'll notice it says 10 and kick. I'm on pattern 10. Once I'm in a track, I can hold play and switch between my patterns, just like how we switched between songs. And that's another theme of the Woovebox, too. Hey, Wabbit's here. Everyone give Wabbit some love. He has not received his Woovebox yet, sadly, due to the United States Postal Service just being the absolute worst. All right, Terry's going to get his Woovebox so we can follow along. Pattern chaining. I see you, Alan, up there. Yes, we will definitely look at pattern chaining. But anyway, like I was saying, how when we're in song mode, you hold play and then change through your songs that way. That's also how you change through your patterns on an individual track. So that's a theme with the Woovebox is once you learn how to do something once, it basically works across the board in other situations. So all of the parameters for each of the tracks on all of the different pages are the exact same, with a few exceptions with the chord track, and that's just because the chord track is special. Oh, Alex definitely got me there. Let's do some sound design. That could be fun. Yeah. Okay. So we are on the kick drum track here. I'm on page oscillator 1. I use the value knob to scroll through the pages. Oscillator 2, amplitude. That's going to be like your envelopes, which you have 2 per track. Filter, pitch, and filter and pitch sections. If we hold down the buttons to view our options here, there's our type of filter, cutoff, resonance. This button here is not lit up, so there's no option on it. But there is an option on all the lit up buttons. So as you can see, I think, yeah, all of them are lit up except button 4, which means we have 15 options on this page. Filter envelope depth, LFO retrigger, cutoff for the envelope, I believe. There's some of these that I still haven't used and still need to learn. There's a lot here. But you basically have a filter and then an envelope and an LFO for the filter. Same thing if we go to the pitch page here. A lot of the same options just for our pitch envelope and filter. Same thing for pan, actually. Not exactly the same, but here's where you can find like your auto pan settings and stuff, as well as just your straight up pan to the left. Or that's right. Pan to the left. There we go. Try to zero this out. My value knob is super touchy. It's just because I have a very, very early unit, like super early. I think this is number like 4. So yeah, no worries. I don't really think anyone else has had any issues with the main value knob there. Let's see. We also have dynamics. That's where we're going to find all of our sidechain stuff. There's 4 different compression or sidechain buses. Super cool. And then our patches. Anything that's long lit up has a patch already in it. Just go ahead and long press on it to switch. If you don't like what you switched to and want to go back to your original patch, the one that you first entered this page with, button 16 will be your friend there. I like this kick drum. Now, I could scroll all the way back to the sequencer page, or I can just click in the value knob, and we're right there into it. As you can see, I already sequenced something and forgot. But here, it just works like a pocket operator. When we're on the sequencer page, so again, pattern 1, KI is kick, and then SEQ, sequencer. This is just one page to the left of the pattern page and 2 pages to the left of the global page. This is where we can play our scales with our samples, synths, whatever. Alex, how did I connect with the Woovebox guy? He just sent me an email. He was a fan of the channel, and I'm very honored he just reached out. And it almost got lost in my spam folder for some reason. I'm really lucky I found it. I'm very lucky I found it. This would make an excellent Eurorack module. Maybe. Man, you'd have to have a lot of... you'd have to have a lot of I.O. on that because of how many features the Woovebox has. That'd be crazy. So we got our kick drum. I'll just pick this one right here, this G. I'm gonna hold right and sequence it, just like that. Hit play. Apparently there was already something here. So let's go ahead and go back to song mode and initialize the song. There we go. Wasn't very good, so I don't really care. Go back to the patches real quick. I think I picked this one. Nope. This one? There we go. Back to the sequencer. There we go. Cool. Okay. Now the reason it's not showing what I just sequenced is because we're not on the sequencer page. We're on the patch page. Remember, I can scroll all the way back to get to the sequencer page. It's a ways, or I can just click in the knob. There we go. Please show off the sampling. If you missed the beginning of the stream, I'm not going to touch sampling today just because I need to familiarize myself with it more. It would be kind of a waste of time because it would just be me remembering how to figure it out. I haven't been able to play with my Woovebox lately due to Knobcon and everything, and I never really went that far into sampling in the first place because that's not something I'm super into, but I will be getting into it very shortly. I just need to make sure I'm up to speed so I can give all of you the best information. Thank you, Fusion Breaks. That's very nice. But yes, sampling, there will be a video coming soon, I promise. Let's get into some sound design now that we have this kick drum laid down. I'm going to switch to the bass track. So to do that, hold the value knob. There we go. Bass track, pattern 1, BS for bass, and the sequencer. I don't like that patch, so scroll to the patch page. Hold down something random. Cool, I use that one all the time. I just like it. Again, clicking in the value knob takes us back to the sequencer page, and it also remembers where I was before that. So if I click it in again, it'll take me all the way to the right, back to the patch page, which is really nice. It just remembers wherever you were. Now you'll notice I don't have like a full scale here. I just have 3 notes, 3 octaves, right? Now, the reason it's doing that is because the bass track right now is following the chord track, which is a way you can do a whole lot with a whole little. We'll probably get into that later. Not sure. I've covered it before in the live stream, but it was the crappy one from the hotel, so who knows. Anyway, for now, I'm going to go to the global page of the bass track, and button 4 here is the follow chord option. This is where we can select an algorithm for how we want the track to follow the chord track. I'm going to turn it off because I want access to all my notes. Back to the sequencer, and now you'll see we've got a C major scale, basically. It's all the white notes. And I can change that by going into song mode and changing the master scale, but you're not really live playing things in with the Woovebox, really. You're more sequencing, and you can select any note you want from like step edit, so it really doesn't matter. If I wanted to be proper, I probably, we'll be proper. We'll go into song here. Let's see, page 2 of the song. No, page 1 has global. There we go. Root, C, and scale. So we'll go E, natural minor. How about that? That's fun. Cool. Now we'll go back to the bass track. Now you'll notice my notes have changed. Terry, I think you were asking about that last night in the Patreon Discord. Alex, any chance for a patch randomizer? Not that I know of yet. However, I have also not brought that up to him, and it's on my list of things that I want to. And as far as I know, there is not yet a Discord for the Woovebox. Someone should start one. Someone has already made a dedicated channel for the Woovebox, so super cool. Wooveboxing, I think it is. They have like 2 videos, I think, maybe 3. Definitely will watch that with great interest. Also, my cable is starting to go here, so it does pop out from time to time. So if for some reason our sound goes down to mono, please let me know. Anyway, let's sequence something on the bass here. Now, while we don't have a patch randomizer, we do have a pattern randomizer. So if I'm on the sequencer page, I can hold right, click in the value knob, and now there's a bunch of options here. This is how you copy, paste, initialize things, like, for instance, back in song mode. This combination of buttons here is how I initialize the pattern so quickly, or the song so quickly. Let's go random pattern. We long press to enact whatever option that is. Now we have a random pattern. It's okay. Let's put this G right here too. Actually, that's super cheesy. Let's redo it. There we go. Let's put an F sharp at the beginning. That's pretty cool. Yes, there is a subreddit for it, definitely, which is neat. You'll notice there's some swing on there. I want to go to global, and then swing is right here on button 9 on the global page for that track. One thing I am going to, I think, request is that we get the option to maybe set up a template, maybe in, I don't know exactly how we do that, but for instance, normally when you load into a new song, it just automatically gives your track swing just a little bit. I'd love to have that off, or for instance, I'd love for the master volume to be a bit higher whenever you turn it on. Just little things like that, you know? Free beat plus Woovebox. Free Woov beatboxing. I don't even know what to say. It may be cheesy, but drop the pattern length down and it opens a whole new groove. Yeah, so pattern lengths are per track, not per pattern. So pattern 1 here, if we go to the pattern page, pattern 1 of the bass track, button 2 is going to be the pattern length. Let's just drop this down to 15. Now check it out. Yeah, that's super cool. And also keep in mind we have, if I go back to the sequencer here, we can hold down on any step to access the ability to sequence individual notes, and we get all 12 of them, which is cool, regardless of what scale or key we're in. But we also have, if I keep clicking here, velocity per step, length per step, micro timing. Then we have our conditional triggers here. So I can tell this like 1 of 2, 1 of 3, always, second time through, 5th time through, 1st and 4th time. There's a lot of options here. And we also have probability. So 25%, 50%, 75%. And then we also have conditions, or do, I guess they're called. Yeah, here. We can tell it. So right now it says 75% of the time, play, slide, and if it doesn't actually trigger, then don't play the note at all. Accent, there's over 100 of these, and they're crazy. Like there's a tape stop. If it triggers. There we go. I'm gonna take this one out. Yeah, you hear that right there? 75% of the time, you get a little tape stop effect there, just on the bass. Okay, now that we have this going though, let's talk sound design. So, if I scroll past the sequencer page, pattern page, there's a little bit of sound design we can do here in global. You get bit crush, saturation, distortion, reverb send, chorus send, and then 2 different delay sends. So those are our global effects. However, if we keep going, now is where we get into the actual sound design process. I'm probably going to say some wrong things here. Alex says motion/parameter automation is always the same length as the whole pattern. Yes, automation can't be shorter or longer than the note sequence. So, for instance, we're at 15 right now. All those triggers just happen on the steps. They're tied to the individual step, if that makes sense. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I'm talking sound design, so I'm probably going to say stuff wrong, so feel free to yell at me like so many people do. Oscillator 1 is page number 1 here. Our options for Oscillator 1 are going to be our wave shape, the level, coarse detune, fine detune, envelope generator, amplitude envelope depth for the first envelope, LFO retrigger, the filter LFO retrigger, I believe. That's empty. Play mode for our wave. Loop, loop reverse, one shot. There's a lot you can do here. Very, very subtle differences. Ton of depth. Phase mode. Normal. Note. I don't know what that even means. That's how bad at sound design I am. Yeah, Fusion Breaks is right. All of those conditions are per track. Per step, per track, which is very cool. Phase start. So where the wave begins, I believe. Phase range. Yeah, this is all above or beyond me. Key follow. So you get literally like key tracking. So at 100%. That's what it sounds like. Let's drop this down to... Not 0. Again, my value knob is super touchy. Whoa, not 300. Let's try 40. Yeah. See? There's so much you can do here. Is this going to be a pain to get back to 100? Oh, maybe. I also, unfortunately, dropped my Woovebox from a high distance. And it survived. But I'm sure that didn't help the value knob. So, and that was just me being an idiot. Yeah, don't be an idiot with your Woofbox or any of your gear. Please, treat your gear with love. Yeah, that's on me. Yes, Alex, all of those effects, all of that stuff, all of that's per step, per track. So you could tape stop on an individual step on any track you want as many times as you want. Yeah. Completely open-ended. Yeah, and with those probability features, you can tell it, so like, let's say 75% of the time, play the note with the tape stop. The other 25% of the time, just play it normally. Or you can tell it 75% of the time, play it with the tape stop. If the tape stop doesn't trigger, don't play the note at all. And that works with all of those conditional effects, too. So, crazy. Let's see, anyway. Now, here we have style. So this is the oscillator style. I'm not exactly sure how to explain this. It's just like an algorithm, I think. We have modern, digital, analog 1, analog 2, analog 3, analog 4. Probably not the best sound to demonstrate that on. Then we have slice select and sample and hold. Those are pretty self-explanatory. Sadly, we're not going to be working with slice select today, like I said. Yeah. Yes, Alan says you can spend hours on just one pattern. Yeah, absolutely. It's wild. So those are all the options for Oscillator 1. Scrolling, whoops, to the next page. There we go. Brings us to oscillator 2, which, surprise, surprise, has all of the exact same options as oscillator 1. However, I'm going to go back to the global page really quick because I forgot one thing here. This is where we select the actual synthesis algorithm. So we're on AM1 right now. If I scroll all the way back to the beginning, here we have subtractive. FM1. FM2. FM3. Not sure what this one is. FM 5. I'm just playing through it. Yeah, again, I don't even know what some of these are. I do need to look at the manual for these. Ring modulation, I know that one. AM1, AM2. Whoa. Hey, Woovebox glitch live. I've never seen that. And it did not save? Oh, wait, no, I'm an idiot. To the bass track. There we go. See? That was weird. I don't know why that happened. That has only recently happened to me. I fear that the fall my Woovebox suffered may have done me in. But I still love this thing. Trust me, I still love it. Okay. Let's go back to the global page here and keep going. No, okay, it glitches right there. I may have just found a bug in the firmware. Nice. Okay, this is gonna sound so funny, but I love finding stuff like that. Now that I was helping to test the Woovebox for the past couple months, I get so excited every time I find something like that because it means I get to type up an email and send it to him. And typically he has it fixed within like 12 hours, which is just crazy. The Woovebox, by the way, just one person. The whole operation. Pretty incredible. So, actually, I'm going to pull up a doc really quick on my computer and type this one out. Cool. Okay. Nice. Yeah. Normally I feel like that would upset people, and I get it. Like if you just bought one of these and it does that, but the whole process of like hunting down bugs and then reporting them and seeing them fixed is very satisfying. I really enjoy it. Hey Valhalla, how's it going? Nope, we're not previewing that song yet. We're going to this one. There we go. Let's just go ahead and stick with FM1, sure, yeah? Cool. So yeah, oscillator 1, oscillator 2. Just scrolling through my wave types here for oscillator 1. Or, we're on oscillator 2, yeah. So I'll show you. We've got a whole lot of these. Noise, sine 1, sine 2, sine 7. SIP1. Again, I don't know what a lot of these are because I haven't really played with sound design. I haven't really played with these with the FM algorithm. That's super saw, I know that. Now we're into user samples. And yes, you can have user samples as oscillators, which is very, very cool. Yes, Fusion Breaks, you update it through Woof Connect. Yes, you do. Okay, that sounds pretty cool. Let's go ahead and go to the next page, though. So next is amplitude. Excuse me, I'm going to have a sip of water. I'm back. DJ Iceman, these are the synthesis engines in the Woovebox. These are not samples. This thing is a full-blown, very, very deep synthesizer. And that's what we're listening to. One thing I will say, the overall point of the Woovebox, and not a lot of people seem to be getting it, is it is a full groovebox. So it's not just for synthesizing sounds. It's not, it's definitely not a sampler. I mean, it is a sampler, but it's not for, there's only 62 seconds of sampling on here. So you're supposed to combine all of those workflows. It's a groovebox. It is for making like songs and jamming, like, where you have drums and synths and all that stuff going. It's supposed to be a complete device. So just like focusing in on one aspect is really not probably the best approach, I say, as I've grossly underused the sampling. There's just so much it can do with synthesis that I just really haven't had any time to look into the sampling stuff yet. Anyway, sorry I was showing this page off. So we have attack, decay, sustain, and release. So ADSR, that's for envelope 1. Then we have LFO, depth, rate, and the hold, and that's going to be the amplitude LFO there. The first one for the envelope, for this track. And then we have controls for second envelope, and I believe LFO. Filter, pretty self-explanatory here. Filter type, none, low pass 1, low pass 2, band pass 1, band pass 2, band pass 3, band pass 4, high pass 1, 2, 3, 4. That's it. I think they sound pretty good, actually. Again, my volume knob's kind of jumpy, sorry. Maybe we'll use an LFO here. Noise is random on the LFO. Depth will go all the way. There we go. That's better. Yeah, cool. DJ Aspen, basically I was saying is that it's supposed to be a complete device, so that's all I meant there. A lot of people seem to be just like focusing in on one little aspect of it. When you embrace everything it can do, nothing touches it in this price point. It's unreal. All right, and Fusion Breaks is correct. Technically, there's no stock sounds. There are stock patches, and well, I guess there are stock sounds because there are stock samples. Like stuff like that. That one. Those are nice toms. Let's go back to the bass, though. Play around a little more. So now we have pitch. LFOs. This is where you control the amount of glide when you're playing live. Portamento probability, which is super cool. So you can set portamento and then via a trigger condition, have that enact only on certain steps when the conditions are met. Is there volume per patch? Yeah, Terry, that's going to be, if you go back to the global page, it's volume per track. So global page, just the first button there, hold it down, master volume for that track. So right now I'm on the bass track. There we go. Yeah. So yeah, that's pitch. A lot of stuff I've never used. I don't really mess with like modulating pitch that much, even on normal gear. So yeah, Terry, you've got volume per track, volume per each oscillator, and volume per sample, and volume for song. All right, next up we have pan. Again, pretty self-explanatory. Around. Yeah, and a lot of these options can go the other way too. Kind of a cool effect, but I'm going to go ahead and set the depth to basically off. I'm a simple guy when it comes to jamming. That's good enough. And then we have dynamics. That's for our sidechain compression. So one of my favorite things is under receive bus here. You can set it to one of the 4 buses, or you can set it to fake. And then if you turn up the depth, fake is just going to give you a 4 on the floor pumping effect without having to match anything. There is no computer editor, but it does not need one at all. I promise. It is so simple. Once you get the very basics down, it is just lightning quick. So now we have that fake sidechain going on, complete with gate and like ducking. Then we have attack, decay, release. The delay duck too. There's a compressor with different like ratios and attack and release for that. It's crazy. Just gonna turn that off now, and then that is the end of the track pages. So, and then we're on patch where we started, where we can pick patches. Woof Connect is not an editor for this, though. Woof Connect is just kind of like your transfer portal. That's where you're just sending and receiving like patches and stems and firmware updates and things like that. So yeah, that's sound design. Like not even scratching the surface. It's just so in depth. Let's just go ahead and jam and come up with something. So I'm gonna go into my snare drum, add some distortion to it. You'll notice when I'm not on a sequencer page for a track, like right now I'm on global, if I press a button, the sound doesn't sound until I release. And that's so you can hold down an option, change your setting, and then release to hear it. Just a smidge of bit crush there. By the way, you can also instantly sequence something just by holding right and then popping it in. You don't have to be on the sequencer page. And also, when you are on the sequencer page, the sounds sound when you press the button. So that took me a while to get used to. Yeah, DJ Iceman, it'll be pretty cool to see what someone focused on hip-hop could do with this, because I bet you could probably find some pretty cool uses for the synth engines too, because you do get 16 tracks. Well, one has to be the chord track, but yeah, very open-ended. Could be super cool, especially because, like I said, you can use samples as oscillators, so you could do some crazy stuff. Okay, let's, we've got a basic beat in. Let's go to the chord track now, and, well, we'll throw in some chords. So, I'm on the sequencer page. The first 3 buttons, and then these 4 here, I'll play your chords. Same with down here, just an octave down. Or no, sorry, not an octave down, a whole different set of chords. So right here I've got like C minor. Here I've got C suspended second. These are just little miniature banks that you can pick and choose from to actually sequence in. The way you scroll through your banks is with button 4 and button 12. So it says E major. Now, the 7 chords in the top bank are all major. I click it again, minor. Does that make sense? So when you see the root note of the chord here, ignore it. Just look at the extension. This just cycles through the extension for this bank of chords. This one does it for these down here. So let's go very simple. We'll go C minor. What key did we pick for our song? I can't remember. E minor, that's right. Okay. Let's go E minor. I'm going to hold right, put an E minor on step 1, okay? It's very, very quiet, right? We can go to the global page for the chord track and turn that way the hell up. Okay, you'll notice, by the way, that the chord track is moving slower than the rest of the tracks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 4, 2, 3, 4. On the pattern page, per track, we can change the length, or the beat division. So if I set it to 1, see, now it runs like normal. If I set it to 2, then we get 2 measures. See how that works? And those are per track, and you can go up to 32. So you could go very, very slow moving if you wanted. By default, the chord track sits at 4. I think that's a pretty good place for it. Then you get 4 chords, a 4-chord progression, 4 measures of music per each pattern. So we've got our E minor right here, which it's not going to show that it's an E minor because we're just auditioning the sound on this pad. But if we hold it down, then it's going to show us the chord on the step. So there's our root note. Clicking in the value knob will also show us that it's a minor chord. And we can change our extension right here, too, per step, as well as our inversion. You could also have random inversion, which is really fun. Let's do random inversion. What the hell, why not? Okay, so we've got that E minor there. Let's put a D major right here. So, just going to scroll through until I see major chords. Whoops, went too far. Well, that's fine. I'm just going to put this D7 right there. Okay. Now I'm going to hold it down. Scroll through until I get to my extension selector. There we go. Major. And we'll go with a random inversion again. Okay. Let's have a listen. Okay. Yeah, pretty easy. We're going to figure this out live. I can't remember if you can copy and paste by doing this. Let's see. Did this just put an E here? We'll find out. Yes, it did. Cool. So let's copy this. And we'll set our inversion to random. You can also set it to auto. I forgot exactly what that does, but there's some kind of algorithm. Let's go with a suspended fourth for that E instead of just a minor. And then let's take this D and we'll put it right here. Whoops, that... Oh yeah, that did work. It's not a D, it's an E. Yeah, that's right. I forgot what key we were in. I've got some stuff to read in chat. Sorry, I get into the Woovebox and I'm just talking you through like it's a freebeat video. Terry, if you didn't want to include the chord track, how do you get rid of it? I will show you. We'll touch on that in just a second. Jean-David Palmer. Yes, I bought the new Koala sampler update. It's super cool. I wanted to take some time and do a video on it because it's really neat. Talk about a low barrier to entry, for just electronic music. It's like sample based. The whole package is like $15 now. So cool. Yeah. absolutely awesome. I love what they're doing there. Flip sampler is also pretty cool for $10. But yeah, Koala sampler. Whew, yeah, new update. Very cool. Fusion Breaks. Notice my ring. Thank you. Yeah, it's already been 3 months. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. Let's finish this chord progression, Terry, and then I'll show you how to drop the chord track out completely. So we got this E minor here. I'm going to change my extension to something silly. Actually, no, we'll just go with a minor 7. That's awful. I'm bad at music theory. I play the drums. Could just go with like a power chord. You know what? Fine. Just to make the Woovebox happy, we will go... Excuse me. We will go major. There we go. So basic chord progression, right? However, our bass isn't following it. And that's because I turned off the follow chord feature. But if we go to the bass track... On the global page, we'll find follow chord. I have it off here. There are different algorithms on how you can get your bass track or any of your tracks to follow the chord track. Actually, yeah. So I'm going to set this to root right now. So now the chord or the bass track is going to follow the chord track. Okay. Now remember, we set our bass track to 15 steps long, and our chord track. And our chord track is 16 steps long. So the chord track is the master. So the bass track rhythmically will vary each time as it's a step shorter, but the timing of when the notes switch will follow the chord track. So you're going to get something that sounds like this. All of a sudden our bass pattern might not work. Let's sequence something different in the bass. I'll just do something random like this here. Remember, we're 15 steps long. Here we go. There we go. See how that worked? It follows what the chord track is doing, and you can do that on any of your tracks. Now, Terry, the issue you were having where you said you were hearing the chord ring out whenever you like played a note, like that. Okay, this bass sound is ridiculous. I got to change the algorithm. It just sounds like Donald Duck. We'll go subtractive. That didn't help much, did it? Changing our... That's a little better. Okay. But you hear the chord track rings out. Now, that's because on the global page of whatever track you're on button 4, you have follow chord set to something. If you turn that off, you will no longer hear the chord. The reason it does that, I'm going to set it back to root, is so when you're hitting a note, you can hear how it sounds in relation to whatever chord you have sequenced. How cool is that? Yeah, so cool. Yes, Grove Twig, the Woovebox can indeed play samples. What time is it? Oh, shoot, 5:49 already? Man, check my phone real quick here. Ah, Lady Freebeat just texted me she just got her first check, so she's going to the craft store. We've got some more time. Okay, let's do you want to see me go for like a little arp or a lead that follows the chord track, or would you rather I show off a little bit of song mode by adding a drum fill to this? Let me know. I'm just going to let this play in the background while we wait. Fail, I bumped the mic. Okay, lead arp and drum fills? All right, we're going to move fast. All right, let's go to the arp track, which really isn't anything other than it's just a normal track. There's really no arpeggiator or anything built in. You kind of have to make your own, but that's okay due to how the Woovebox works. Let's find a different patch. We can tell that we have follow chord on because anytime I hit a pad or a button, we can hear that chord ringing out. Oh, that one's fun. These are all synthesis, by the way. None of these are samples here. So, yeah. Awesome. Okay. It's a little quiet, though, don't you think? Whoops. Sometimes I lean my fingers on the play button accidentally. Turn up the master volume. That's too much. Let's turn off swing just so it stays uniform. Okay, so we've got follow chord on. I'm just going to go ahead and put in 4/16 notes, okay? Actually, tell you what, we'll do 8. Then in pattern, I'm going to set pattern length to 8. Now, if we go to global and follow chord, we can see it set to closer A. That means it's going to use the closer A algorithm for following the chord. So, well, everything I sequenced was just all these B's here. These are just the same note. Have a listen. That did not work how I thought it did. I forgot the algorithm, I think. Back to the global page. Is it closer? It's one of these. Or I also might be thinking of a different device. I've used so many damn devices in the past 2 weeks. Yes. That's embarrassing. I think I'm thinking of the Poly and Play. Okay, so let's just set these to random notes then. Sorry. My mind is so scrambled. I almost went live with the Poly and Play today. Setting these to random notes. Now the algorithms will change how they work. Whoops. Don't want solo. We're on global. Okay, so let's set it to LGL. Here we go. There we go. Try the next algorithm. Hear how it changes with the chords? Here we go, next one. I'm not changing the notes at all. Let's go to the next one here. 1, 2, switch now. I like that one. I use number 3 a lot. Next this one? Oh, that's just root. Yeah, you get the idea. Let's see. Randy, can you MIDI sync it to other gear? You can. It does have 3.5 millimeter MIDI out on the back there, as well as sync. But it's really meant to be more of a standalone device. That's another thing I think people are kind of passing on. Electronic musicians are obsessed with connecting gear. I swear. But it's really, I think, meant to be more of a standalone device, which is super, super cool because it's just tiny. It does have MIDI in over Bluetooth. How easy is it with these bunch of buttons and the 8-segment display to get back into a project on a second session? Yeah, you want to get back into this? So we're on song 3, right? Yeah, so turn it off, okay? Coming home from work. This is my work, joke's on me. Turn on the Woovebox. It defaults to song 1, global. I'm going to turn up the master volume. I think we had it around the 80-ish range. Watch your ears just in case. Now I can just switch to song 3 just like that. We were working on the bass track. No, we were on the ARP track. There you go. Done. And we're going to set that follow algorithm back to... Let's keep it at TRS2. Or 3. There we go. Let's have some fun with this ARP, though. Remember, we set it to 8 steps long, our pattern, and we have 8 notes in here. Let's go ahead and select a few of these to randomize. So, Fusion Breaks, you wanted a tip? Here you go. Select a step with your right hand that you want, if you want to batch select a group. So let's say we want to do, starting with number 7 here. So hold it down. Now I hold right, and now I can add other steps to select with it. And, whoops, yeah, you have to make sure you're on the sequencer page, sorry, for this to really work. So let's do that again here. Step, and then right, and the steps I want. And now we can go to always? No, let's say 75% of the time. And let's actually set our pattern length to 7. So it's going to skip this last one here. Yep, it already turned off the step. And now some of these are only 75% of the time. But all of those follow algorithms and the chords are still happening. So cool. Shades. That's how I felt at Knobcon, like looking around at everybody's setups. It was so cool. Like I actually got to spend time with modular stuff, but if you don't have 5+ adapters and 12 cables running off screen, is it actually electronic music? That's a good question. Bear with me one moment. I'm going to tell Lady Freebeat I'm going to stream a little bit longer. Keep streaming for a bit since you're out. Whoop, not skin you're out, since you're out. And take your time with a smiley face. There we go. Cool. Okay, there we go. What else were we going to do? Yeah, so that's how you can do like ARPs and lead lines and stuff that follow the progression. Now, keep in mind, we could also go into the chord track, set it to like 16 measures and have each step be a new measure with a new chord on it, and everything would follow. You can just go nuts with it. It's crazy. It's absolutely wild. An LFO to the ARP volume? Yeah, I've never tried that. Let's give it a shot. Since I have apparently a few more minutes here, let me check my phone. Oh, she sent a heart back. I did the right thing. Woo. What were we doing? LFO to volume. Yeah, and the amplitude section should be there. Do we want random or let's go square? I can also, since I'm on the ARP track, if I select it again, now I'm soloing it. There we go, a really fast LFO on the volume. There we go. Had to turn down the master volume a bit. It's actually a pretty cool sound, isn't it? Yeah. Oh, unsolo it. There we go. I think I'm missing a step. It's been a while since I've used the LFOs. I think there is one setting in the sound design. So that's the other thing. Like, it is very faithful to actual sound design. Like, you have to have, like, you know, if you're working with, like, a filter envelope, you have to have the filter cutoff in the right position first in relation to the envelope. But because of how fast it is to jump around between those different options, thanks to the options being tied to the buttons rather than the knob, you know, so there's, like, my filter cutoff right there. And there would be my envelope depth right there. So, like, it's very, very easy and intuitive once you get the hang of it. It also helps to be decent at sound design, which I am not. But, yeah, that sounds pretty cool. I like that. Let's play around a little bit with song mode now, and we'll make a drum fill here. Okay, so I'm going to go to, I think, by default, track 15, which you get to by switching tracks like normal, so value knob in, then long pressing number 15, because short pressing it takes you to live mode, which I still have to play with. But long pressing it, yeah, here's these great classic 80s toms. I'm just going to go ahead and sequence it. I'm going to put them on pattern 1. You might think that's crazy. I'll show you why in just a minute. Oh, man. I'm just going to do this. And... oh, whoops, I was not on the sequencer page. Silly freebie. There's a much faster way to do this. I'm just doing it this way because I already started it. I have a bad habit of doing stuff like that. Yep, I already messed this up. C, this is B. Yeah, there is a much faster way. Alright, we'll just go A for the rest of these. That's fine. Well, except this last one is too high. There we go. Is the developer an alien? Kinda. Kinda seems like it. Like the concept of the knob itself not selecting options, but just pages of options, and then those options per page being tied to holding down a button and using the knob to change the value is so freaking smart. Like it blew my mind when I first figured it out. And I figured it out before I even had my hands on the Woof Box, just in watching, he linked me to that, the one with the AI voiceover, which, don't worry, that is worked on being changed. I know a lot of people were like leery of that. I think it's just because he doesn't like his voice on camera. It's nothing malicious or anything like that. But I just watched that video over and over and over, and I finally realized what was going on. It's so smart. It's so genius. I need a Foster's to go with it. Not on stream. I'm not going to demonetize any of this with my 22 viewers. I'd be losing out on at least cents. My wife would tell you, well, I haven't had cents for a long time, though. But yeah. What were we doing? Oh, yeah, we've got this drum fill. It's cool, but we don't want that to play the whole time through our song here, right? So let's go into song mode. And I'm going to scroll until I get to fragment 1. Song mode is made up of different fragments. A fragment is a combination of tracks and patterns from those tracks, okay? So to edit fragments, you hold right, and we're going to use the value knob here to set this to 2 bars long. Nope, 4 bars long. 3 bars long. How about that? We'll go 3 bars long for this one. I'll show you why in just a second. When I hold down right, I can now select tracks that I want to play. We know we want the kick drum, right? We know we want the snare drum. I don't think we had a hi-hat going on. You'll notice they're both flashing. They're both selected. If I click in the knob, I get to pattern select here for those. So I want them both playing pattern 1. We can also do that bass. I also want that playing pattern 1. Chord track and our arpeggio. I think that's... yeah. So now it's going to play 3 bars through those. No matter where those patterns are in their playthrough cycle, it will switch after 3 bars of music. Aussies don't drink Foster's. That's good. It's not my favorite beer. I'm an IPA guy, as Terry and Garen and Grove Twig can attest to. All right. Lady Freebeat is on her way home, but I've probably got 15 minutes or so still. So, all right, we've got our fragment going. Let's go ahead and go to fragment 2. Now, in fragment 2, I want that drum fill to be there, right? So I'll once again go ahead and do chord, bass, arp, kick, and snare. But then I'm also going to turn on this track 15 here, which has that tom fill. And I think actually I'm going to take off the snare drum track. And this fragment only needs to be 1 bar long. So starting at fragment 1, let's have a listen. See how it switched automatically there? Super easy. You can access the context menu by holding right and clicking in the volume knob there. We can get clone fragment, insert fragment, delete fragment. You can see all kinds of cool stuff. Now, the real power where this comes in is the tracks don't all have to be on the same pattern. So let's go back to that tom fill there. For instance, let's say that, we just sequenced it onto pattern 1, right? Let's go ahead and copy it to pattern 2 of the of track A7 down here, 15 or so. Paste. There we go. So that's how easy it is to copy and paste a pattern. Let's go back to pattern 1 of the auxiliary track and initialize it. Okay, it's gone. Pattern 1. No longer there, right? That was weird. Oh well. Yeah, pattern 1 on track 15. Not there. That might be a glitch too. Just a little bug. If we go to pattern 2, there's our fill. And it's just by itself. Nothing else is in pattern 2 on any of the other tracks. Song mode doesn't care about that. So if we go back, remember fragment 1, just this right here, but fragment 2, we had the main parts of the song, no snare drum, and that tom fill. Now, it's not going to play the tom fill because we have this set to pattern 1. We need to set it to pattern 2. Now it will play. Just like that. even though this tom fill is not normally on the same pattern as these. So if we look at any of these other tracks, they're all set to pattern 1. And you can still batch select this way too. They're all on pattern 1, whereas this one, it's on pattern 2. You can start to see the possibilities here. It gets even crazier, though, because these also... I need to go unlock the back door for Lady Freebeat real quick. Give me just a second. Hold that thought. All right, I'm back. Let's see. Grove Twig. Slightly larger device with MIDI in and hardware stem export. Yeah. Stem export, yeah, happens via Woof Connect. I would love if we could get Woof Connect as just a standalone app, so it doesn't have to be online. I think that would be cool, or web-based. Are there set channels, like one for ARP? No. No, the only track that is set is track 1, which is the chord track, and that's because it's actually polyphonic. All other 15 tracks can be whatever the hell you want. Whatever you want. The drum synth engine is the same as the synth engine. I'm not good at sound design, not good enough to do my own drums yet. Hopefully I'll get there, but yeah, all the tools are there. You just have to make them, which is pretty crazy. Let's talk about pattern chaining real quick. Someone was asking about that. We will go back to the bass track here on pattern 1. And I'm actually going to go into the ARP track and delete it so we can actually hear. Okay? I should have just copied that into pattern 2. Oh well. So here we are in the bass track, right? Let's go to pattern 2 of the bass track and just randomize something here. Okay? I'm also going to go into our tom fill and delete that. We don't need that. So when you're actually working in the tracks, they're all really irrelevant. If that makes sense. If you're working towards a goal of using song mode in terms of what is playing with what. Like you could have track 1 of the chord track, track 7 of the hi-hat, or pattern 7 of the hi-hat track, pattern 2 of the lead or the ARP, all going at the same time with different lengths, and song mode also respects chains. So that's what we're going to do right now. So we've got the bass track here, right? That's pattern 1. Pattern 2 of the bass track. Okay, that's different enough from pattern 1 that we can hear the difference. Let's chain the two of these together. So back on pattern 1, if we go to the pattern page, which is just one to the left of the global page and one to the right of the sequencer page, buttons 3 and 4 have to do with chaining. So button 3, if we hold it down, is where we select which pattern we'd like to chain this to. So you can go self, or you can go number 2, okay? Button 4 also gives us chain repeat. So that's how many times this pattern repeats before chaining. So we'll leave it at 1 right now, okay? Then there's also pattern mutes, which are crazy. I don't fully understand the system yet, like it's that in depth. There's like mute offset and mute length, and yeah, it's crazy. There's also, Terry, you were asking about follow chord stuff. There's also follow chord per individual track. Or, individual pattern. Per individual pattern. So you can have it set to global, which will follow the follow chord setting from the global page, or you can have it set per pattern too, which is just unreal. I don't know. I'm definitely on board with how small it is. You really have to sit down and use it before it clicks, before you get it. Yeah. And it comes with the case, which is really cool, so you can just bring it everywhere. Really neat. And it comes with this splitter here too for, I believe, sync and, yeah, I don't know. I'm so bad at audio cables and all that stuff. We're talking pattern chain. So let's go. We've got pattern 1 here, and it's chaining to pattern 2. If we go to pattern 2, we can have it actually chain back to pattern 1, and it has its own repeat and mute functions and all that. So let's go to pattern 1. We're going to see it's going to play pattern 1 once and then chain to pattern 2. And notice how the bass track still follows the chord track. If I go to the sequencer, we can see the pattern changing. Pattern 1, pattern 2. There we go. Now, what's crazy about song mode is that it respects pattern chains. So let's go fragment 1 here. Let's actually set it, since we don't have that tom fill anymore, let's set it to 8 measures long. Remember, all of our tracks are set to pattern 1, right? Pattern 1, pattern 1, pattern 1, pattern 1, pattern 1. Now, all these tracks, except for the bass track, are just one pattern. However, pattern 1 on the bass track, like we just set up, also chains into pattern 2, and then back to pattern 1, and it repeats. And fragments respect that. Crazy, right? So the depth that you can get out of this is just absolutely wild. Let's set this down to 4, and then we'll make a second fragment here using those same components. And I'll do same thing for 3 here, and same thing for a 4th one. Fragments also have the ability to have different behaviors, which is so cool. Tracks within fragments. So let's say for fragment 1 here, let's say we want our bass track. There's also chord lock there, retrigger. There's retrigger effects for like fills, but there's behaviors. So we can have it play, mute, fade in, fade out. Let's have filter C. Yeah. That's not what I wanted. I haven't played with a lot of these. One of these should. There we go. Fade in the filter. Then we move on to fragment 2, where the behavior is just set to play normal. See you later, Terry. Have a good night. So see how that works? There's other behaviors for tracks too. So let's go kick, behavior, fade in, fade out, pitch up, pitch down, pitch down. Now the pitch is down. That bass is still fading in. Now we're on fragment 2 where everything's set to play normal. Just like that. Oh yeah, we don't have an ARP. I'm going to switch to the ARP real quick and just randomly program something in. We'll just randomize it. Sure. And we'll set the pattern length to 7. Oh, it was already set to it. Nice. Cool, that's fine. Song mode, and we already had the ARP selected, so... Hear that kick drum is pitched down? There we go. Okay, let's do something with the ARP on fragment 2. Let's go retrigger. No, that's going to be nasty. That's a melodic thing. Let's go retrigger on the snare drum track. How about that? So there's a whole bunch of retrigger stuff here. I don't exactly remember what they all are. Clearly. There are a lot of options, though, just for making your songs unique. There we go. So it doubles every time it hits. And then back to pattern or fragment 3 where everything's normal. Let's try a different one on fragment 2 here. So that's muting on every other step, sounds like. And there are in-depth explanations of these on the Woovebox website. Not sure what that one did. There's a lot here to just play with and learn. Oh, that shifts it forward. So what happens if we combine that with... I don't know. Pitch up. The pitch continuously going up. There we go. Yeah. There's so much you can do. Set that to play. And off. There we go. There is a live play mode that allows you to set up scenes and schedule scenes and trigger scenes and live play over the top, but I don't think it has punch-in effects. I have not used it yet. But yeah, as you can see, I mean, the Woovebox is insane. The fact that he was able to cram all of this into this tiny little form factor. Seriously, it's so fun to use just laying in bed with a set of headphones or, you know, on the couch or anything like that. I wish it had an onboard speaker. It would be like my ultimate device if it had an onboard speaker. The song mode is simply the best implementation of a song mode I've encountered in any device. It's just so good. Yeah, and the fact that he coded like all the synthesis stuff from the ground up. One person, no open source code on it. He went with it because he wanted to get as much as he could into it. Everything is so tightly optimized. Really, I've had a lot of fun talking to him about it. Yeah. It's honestly, it's kind of like a different OPZ. Like functionality features wise, it's very similar to the OPZ. And that's a comparison that I will probably start using more often. And the battery life is crazy too. And the price point, yeah, I just love this thing. It's absolutely amazing. Let's go ahead and add a hi-hat in real quick while I wait for Lady Freebeat. I'm going to go to oscillator 1 here. Turn up the decay, or the tuning, sorry. Where's my decay? I'm going to get a tight hi-hat. Oh. There we go. A little too tight almost. Careful, band kids. There we go. Delay, chorus on the hi-hat. Why not? Ton of reverb. Not a ton, but that's fine. Sequencer, randomized pattern. Gonna need to extend decay a bit. It's an interesting effect. Yeah, cool. Oh, Mags, I'm excited to see what you got. I don't know if it'll let you put a link, but everyone check out Mag's channel. I'm going to go ahead and stop it there. You can clearly see it's easy to make patterns. I think we all know that by now. Is there an indicator for if you're up to date? I think right now the only way to tell is if you connect to Woof Connect and it doesn't prompt you for more firmware. I haven't updated mine in like a week, so I don't know. At the rate that the creator works, there's probably a new firmware. But yeah, that's how I've been telling anyway. I could have missed something. More music than you could have made in 1990 for under $2,000. Yeah, that was kind of his idea, was to take his studio from the 90s and ooh, look at that coaster. Thanks, Knobcon. This was in our swag bags. Yeah. But cram his entire 90s studio into one little box. Very cool. All right. Well, I think that might wrap up the stream. Like that I was able to go a little longer this time. Hopefully everybody enjoyed it. I may not have done the best job showing it off. I don't know. I always feel pressured in live stream situations. But yeah, Woovebox is an awesome groove box. Just endless amounts of potential. I can't wait till people start posting their own tracks and showing us patches and things like that, because I know there's going to be some crazy stuff. Like my squeaky chair. I, really quick, am going to link you all to a very cool page. Here you go. Go to that website, that link right there, and you can listen to sound demos. These were all made by the creator, I believe. Yeah, just some tracks that are a little nicer than mine. He's definitely got, well, it's his device, but he's got like the mixing, and you know, like not quite mastering. I don't think it goes quite that deep, but he's got that element down a lot better than I do, and I just suck at that in general. But yeah, his stuff sounds very good. Very good. Someone is backing up a large truck outside. Yeah, Sadiq Cat, you think you got the gist of it? I think so too. It's really just learning where everything is. And like I said, I've said it so many times, you really only have to learn it once. Because once you know it once for one track, then you know it for all the other tracks. And the context menu most of the time is the same. That's when you hold right in the upper left corner and click in the value knob there. Well, that's a different menu there, but yeah. Yeah. Also, everybody go check out Fusion Breaks. Fusion Breaks has Woovebox content, so if you're after it, a good place to go. Like I said, there's that Wooveboxing channel too. I'm going to have more stuff here. I might just like post random jams with it. I jam with my Woovebox all the time. But yeah. Anyway, I hope you all... Oh, Alan's got a track on SoundCloud so far. Awesome. Post to your channel too. Yeah, everybody. Thanks for coming out. Hope you enjoyed the stream. Hope you liked some Woovebox action. Glad that I wasn't in a hotel. Yeah. All right, everybody. I think that's going to wrap things up. Unless anyone has any last-minute questions, I'll hang around for another minute or two. I've got Thai food showing up, but not until 7 o'clock. And I ordered under spicy level. I just got green curry, but for under spice level, I put extremely wild. That's a new place we haven't ordered from before, so we'll see. Thanks, Randy. Have a good one. Thanks, Alan. Thank you, Alex. Thank you for being here. And for bringing those awesome speakers with you to Knobcon. and everything else you do. Have a good night, Garen. Oh, you're getting your hot sauce tomorrow? You're going to have to let me know what you think. Maybe we will start a hot sauce section of the Discord server. Oh yeah, that's another thing I always try to say. I know most people in here are already patrons, but if you would like to become a patron and support the channel, as well as get access to the private Freebeat Patrons Discord server, head to patreon.com/freebeat, linked in the description below. $1 a month goes a very long way, gets you access to the Discord server, things like the patron shout-out, other stuff too, I can't remember. Oh yeah, weekly behind-the-scenes vlog. Yeah, a lot of good stuff. Free hot sauce. All right, I'm going to go watch some Woovebox videos from Mags and Fusion Breaks and Alan. Yeah, fun. All right, everybody. Thanks for coming out. Thanks for hanging out for a bit. We'll see you on Friday for a normal video. Everybody, yeah, go get your Woov on. Bye, everybody. Thanks again.